So welcome everybody. This is EOP Can't Spell Success Without You, brought to you by the Academic Guidance Team. So we'll go ahead and start with introductions. So my name is Juan Garcia. I'm a fifth-year political science and linguistics double major, pronouns he, him, his. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I am one of the PhD coordinators for the EOP program.
Hello, everyone. I'm Angeles Cruz. I'm a fourth-year Chicano Studies and Psychology double major with a minor in education, and I'm from Petaluma, California, and I use she, her pronouns.
Hello, everyone. My name is Franklin Rodas. I'm a third-year cognitive science major with an emphasis in computational. I'm a pronouncer he, his, and him, and I'm from Modesto, California.
Awesome. So thank you for joining us. So we'll go over the agenda. Angela?
Yes, so the first thing that we'll do is get to know each other a little bit better. So we'll start with an icebreaker. Then we'll move on to talking about the benefits of a quarter versus a semester system. We'll talk a little bit more about the unique experiences academics have here at UC Davis, as well as some fun classes that are the highlight of UC Davis. We'll share some EOP resources, talk about our staff, and share our social media. There will be a Q&A at the end, but if you have any questions, you're welcome to stop us during each slide, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can put it on the chat, and I'll be monitoring that regularly and making sure that all the questions get answered. So before we get started, we want to know where you're from. We shared our hometown, so we're hoping that you'll share yours. We know that there's not only people in California and in the US, but in the entire world. So if you want to participate in our icebreaker and let us know where you're from, you can unmute yourself, or you can put it in the comments as well.
Hayward.
So Chris Cangelina, who is our supervisor, is from Hayward, California. And Tatiana is from Orolinda, California, and Tamara is from Sacramento, California. And also, if anyone is watching this on IGTV, you're definitely welcome to put your hometown in the comments and interact with us that way. Maybe even find somebody from your hometown too. Great, well, we'll move on to the next slide, but you're definitely welcome to continuously put your hometown in the chat. And then Julie Augusto, who's the director of the Educational Opportunity Program, is living in Sacramento, but originally from New York. All right, so the quarter system versus the semester system. Some of the benefits from the quarter system is that you do have a lot of flexibility. You can get in more classes per academic year, and that's because the quarter system has 3 terms, fall, winter, and spring, as you can see in the bottom. And you can get more subjects in to explore. So if you're not really sure what major you want to do, you can have the opportunity to take that extra space and explore some more classes. And you can also get your major courses done even sooner, since we are on a 10-week term, even potentially double major, triple major, add minors in there. As I mentioned, I'm a double major and I have a minor. It's definitely something you can still do in the semester system, but it makes it a lot easier if you are in the quarter system to explore and take more classes. Another benefit of the quarter system is that you only have to recall the information for the last 10 weeks, or maybe even less. Some professors do non-cumulative exams, which means they break up the quarter into small portions and you only have to memorize or remember every section. For the semester, you do get some more time to study one material since the semester system is on 15-week terms. So you do have a lot more time to get familiar with the subject or go more in depth. For example, if you're taking a STEM class, but one of the benefits of the quarter system is that we don't want you to miss out on that opportunity. So what we do at UC Davis is we'll do series. So for example, if you're taking chemistry, you'll not only take one quarter of chemistry, you'll probably take a couple quarters. And we want to make sure that you get the same information that you would anywhere else. And then another thing about the semester system is that it might be a little bit harder to recall what you did learn in the last 15 weeks, just because the term is a little bit longer, but it really does depend on the institution itself. And like I said, if any of you have any questions on this slide or of any of the other subjects that we talk about today, feel free to put that on the comments.
The next slide, it's academic experience. Here you see Davis, we have 4 colleges. You could think as different majors have a specific place where they can get academic advising and more interacting more with their field that they chose. So we have the College of Letters and Science, the engineering, biological sciences, and agriculture. There's a variety of majors here at UC Davis, BAs and BS, and some of them have emphasis and concentrations. Some of them don't. For example, mine is cognitive science and it has an emphasis in computational. Some have neuroscience and so on, and different majors have different. Both BAs and BS sometimes have concentrations and emphasis. There's also a lot of minors offered here at UC Davis, and here I put the links if you want to explore them before you come to UC Davis. And if you need more help on like exploring, we can help on that too as well. Classes here at UC Davis range from units. I know that may sound a little bit different than than high school, but I think some of the high school function the same way that you get units. But let me explain how the units work. So for each unit that is at least 1 hour of class and 3 hours outside of work. So 1 hour is you see your professor, you interact in a big classroom, and then the other 3 hours is outside commitments, such as you're doing your homework, online homework, or any labs, or so on. It's just homework outside of your classroom commitment. And then I show right there how some classes, most classes here at UC Davis are 4 units. And the way 4 units classes are set up is a 3-hour lecture. So you either meet 2 or 3 times a week. The 3 times a week is 1 hour, and the 2 times a week is 1 hour and a half. And some classes range either Tuesday or Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2 days. And then some of the classes include discussion, some of them don't, and it's an hour discussion. So by taking one class here at UC Davis, a 4-unit class, it's about 12 hours of commitment studying and doing homework for a 4-unit class. I'll go a little bit more specific in the colleges. So the College of Biological Science, I put the link so you can explore a little bit more about the colleges. It has all the information you need to know. Some general information that we put in for each college. For example, the College of Biological Science. Most classes are 4 units, but some of the classes that you will coming in are some 5 units, such as physics, biology, and chemistry. The classes are designed in a 3-hour lecture and then 1 discussion and a lab section. The labs are different for each section. Some range from 2 hours to 3 hours. I know for chemistry it's 3 hours. I got a question about the BA and BS, the difference. So the BS, it has to do with more like STEM based, more like you have to take a little more science and a little bit more math. And then the BA is the Bachelor of Arts, when you don't have to take a lot of like science and engineering parts, or don't like handle a little bit of the math or the anything that has to do with STEM. You can step aside a little bit of that. It's such as BA major in political science, linguistic, language courses such as Spanish, I think they have French and all those.
If I can chime in as well, one of the big differences, like Franklin said about the BA and the BS, has to do with the amount of science classes that you do have to take. So here at UC Davis, there's a difference. So for students who are doing a BS, they have a requirement that they have to take 90 units worth of science classes. So classes at UC Davis are kind of categorized, and one of the categories is science and engineering. So if you are a BS major, you have to take 90 units worth of science and engineering courses in order to fulfill that requirement to receive your BS. Versus a BA student just has to complete like the regular requirements, the general education requirements, things like that. But the BS students do have that added requirement that they have to complete 90 units worth of science and engineering courses in order to receive their BS.
I know this may sound a lot of information, but as you come to Davis, this is just to give you a general overview how the UC Davis works, but we'll give you more information. For the next one is the College of Engineer. Most classes are 4 units, but one thing that all engineers have to take is the math series and the physics 9 series. Some of them also require to take like BIS or chemistry, but just like 1 class or 2 classes, depending on the major that you're on and the concentration you're taking. So if you're taking much more the bio, I think there's a bio side with engineering combination where you have to take a lot of bio side and more with the engineering part as well. The next college is the College of Ag, Environmental Sciences. Most classes, again, are 4 units. In this college, some majors require some science and some of them don't. Some of the science, again, are physics, chem, and biz. And like I mentioned before, they include labs, which are like up to 3 or 2 hours, depending on which series you're taking. I know one standing major there is the CRD major, which requires an internship before graduation. They help you to explore a little bit more about the internship as you come to UC Davis. The next one is the College of Letters and Science. The College of Letters and Science is the biggest college that we have here at UC Davis. Most classes, again, are 4 units. Some outstanding things about the College of Letters and Science is that the design major, they have like a studio hours where they do, because they're art, they have to do the art hours and during the studio hours. Foreign languages, most of the courses are 5 units, especially at the beginning. And then you have to meet 5 times a week, so for an hour. So let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then all the way to Friday, you meet at like at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. For 1 hour. Some of the majors there require some science classes because we have some BS majors there, such as computer science, cognitive science, and some others. And they require some physics, chem, and biz. And again, depends on sometimes on the concentration that you have as well. And then also some majors may require some internship upon graduation as well. Some fun classes. I have not taken all of them personally, but these are some of the outstanding ones. So some of the recommended are some of the design classes. They're kind of hard to get in. But if you take some effort to like wait lists or something like that, you can get into the class at some point, and then you can enjoy some of the design classes. There's a lot of design classes you can take just for fun, and then they complete some of the GEs. You can take some ethnic studies such as African American studies, Native American studies, Chicano studies, and so on. There's also film and photography classes that you can take. There's also like a field equipment operation. Basically, you can kind of like drive a tractor and things like that. I haven't taken it personally, but a lot of students taking around during their senior year or junior just for fun class. There's also an intro to brewing and beer. And then there's also an intro to winemaking. If you're under 21, again, you're not allowed to touch any of that stuff, but you're able to interact with them. Foreign language courses, a lot of foreign language courses don't have a lot of requirements. Just have to go in and join. They're just fun classes to take. There's one of the biggest classes that most students take is design a coffee. Everyone wants to make a fun coffee here at UC Davis. There's also PE classes. Surprisingly, many first-year incoming freshmen don't know about this, and then now you know. So there's some PE classes you could take, and it's not the same as high school where you have to do run this mile or do those things. No, you can do it more specifically. Can do tennis, racquetball, basketball, soccer, water polo, and so on. Um, the next one is domestic animal and people. Basically, that one is you interact with animals because we are an agriculture school as well. So that's why we have the College of Ag. So there's some that way you can interact with some animals as well. This one was a new one that I found out about, edible mushroom cultivation. You learn how to cultivate mushrooms. That was a new one to me. Also, a good way to explore our general education courses. This is a way for you to explore various side of other majors such as engineering, social sciences, and arts and humanities. Um, and then in all the above classes that I have mentioned, you can also take them as UGEs as well. Different for everyone to meet the general education courses, so that's why it's better to talk to a major advisor, college advisor, or a peer advisor, and we'll give you more information about that as we move forward. You can also more than welcome to take intro courses, or maybe it can lead you to take a minor. Some students here at UC Davis come in and they take an intro course of a major, and at the end they end up doing a minor on it. And because some of the minors here require at least 4 or 5 classes. So once they move in and they explore, sometimes they're doing a minor without noticing it. That happens a lot of students here at Davis as well.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about like what the academic experience is like at UC Davis, talking about fun classes, things like that. But we also want to talk about how EOP as a center supports our students. So for those of you who may not know what EOP is, so we are the Education Opportunity Program. Our little cottage is in the background of Franklin and Angeles. So that's our little cottage, very homey, looks like a house. So a lot of what we do is just generally supporting first generation low income students, just because we acknowledge that being first generation can be a little bit difficult, especially because you might not have that support at home because your parents didn't go to college, so they don't have the experience or the knowledge of how to navigate a huge university like UC Davis. So what we try to do at UOP is be that support system for our students. And what we tell our students is like, if you have any concerns or you run into any problems while on campus, we encourage you all to come to the EOP cottage and just ask one of the peer advisors for help. And we try to do our best to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our students. So in terms of academic support, these are some of the resources that we offer. So we do a lot of academic advising. So that looks like the peer advisors, like Franklin and Angeles. So they're trained advisors. So they help students with scheduling classes, figuring out what their major requirements are, what their general education requirements, like all the other requirements for graduation, things like that. If you don't know what classes to take, like we help our students with that. But we also just try to do, like I said, be a first point of contact. So if you're having issues or anything like that with a center on campus, or like you don't know what to do about something that came up at the registrar's office or the financial aid office, we try to do referrals for our students and just try to help them and make sure that that academics is the first thing that they should be worrying about, and not necessarily like how to navigate the university. So that's a lot of what like the peer advisors do. We also offer tutoring. So in the EOP cottage, we do tutoring in our study room, mostly for math. So that's for all the math series. There are different kinds of maths on campus, which is a little difficult to like get the hang of, but we do offer tutoring for that. We also offer tutoring for chemistry as well as writing. Because a lot of classes on campus do require a lot of writing, we try to make sure that our students are being supported in terms of that. We do offer blue books and Scantrons. So these are testing materials that sometimes professors require in order to take midterms and finals. Um, and they're not free. You do have to buy them, but we acknowledge that being first generation low income, you might not have like the resources. to be buying those kinds of materials. So we try to offer that to our students for free. Another thing that we do is the lending library. So these are textbooks that have been donated by previous students or we've purchased ourselves. And we lend them out to our students. Like I said, finances are a bit of a barrier for our student population. So we try to mitigate that as much as possible. And the lending library is one of those resources. So if we have a textbook that you need for a specific class, you can borrow it from us and it's completely free of charge. We just require you to return it at the end of the quarter so that other students can use it. Another resource is the pre and co classes. So these are classes that go concurrently with some of the math classes or the physics classes because we acknowledge that those classes can be a little bit difficult. These classes do help students make sure that they are understanding the material in their classes and they have a little bit more like one-on-one support with instructors. So the co-classes are a little bit smaller. So students do have more time to be talking with instructors and getting that material down. And then the pre-classes, those are a little bit different from the co-classes. Those classes help students prepare themselves for the classes for math and chem and physics. So those classes, they're just there to prepare students. I have a question. How do you sign up for the pre and co classes? So usually we try to save those classes for EOP students or just like students who may need them the most. So we get the CRNs first. And if you need to take that class, you could just come into the EOP cottage and ask one of the PACs for the co-class. And then that way they'll give you the CRN, which is the course registration number, and you just input that into, it's a number that you input into the website that you use to register for classes, and then the class should come up and you just register for it. Yes, so another resource is our study space. So we do have a study space in our office, and that's just for students to come in to use whenever they need to. You could do study groups in there. There's a whiteboard, there's a marker. We also have a printer in there for students to use. And then lastly, one of the services that our center offers is success workshops. So these are workshops offered by various staff members that work within the larger office that we're a part of. So they do a lot of workshops regarding like time management, how to take notes, how to read efficiently, things like that, just to like kind of help yourself build like those study skills to be successful at UC Davis. So those are some of the resources that we offer. I encourage you to go onto the link that's down there, opportunity.ucdavis.edu. That's where you would find the other services that are offered by EOP. And if you just go on to opportunity.ucdavis.edu, just that part, you'll find the Office of Education Opportunity Enrichment Services. So that's our larger office, like I said, and there's tons of other resources that you might find on there that you might find to be useful. So I encourage y'all to go on there. Yeah. And then I'll talk a little bit about the staff at EOP. So like I talked a lot about the peer advising counselors. So those are our PACs. So next year we'll have 14 PACs. And as you can see, we have 4 of our PACs this year. Right there, we have Vera, Luz, Brian, and Braulio. We all come from different majors, different backgrounds, different career goals. So you'll be able to find someone who will be able to help you the best. If you're maybe like a pre-med student, you might want to talk to Brian, or you might want to talk to Sabria because they are pre-med. So I encourage y'all when you are on campus to come visit the EOP Cottage and talk to the PACs. And like I said, they can help with class scheduling, referrals to campus resources, and just talk about the student experience in general. We also have retention specialists. So we have 2 retention specialists, Christina Jackson and Christopher Fangelina. They're academic counselors. They are staff, career staff, so they can help you with the adjustment to campus. Maybe you don't want to talk to a PAC because maybe it's a little bit more personal. you can talk to one of them. They can help you with like getting involved. If you're having academic difficulty, maybe you're having trouble with time management, things like that. They're an awesome resource to talk to about that. And then they're just awesome in general, just to build relationships with. They're awesome to just come into their office and kind of just vent a little bit if that's what you want to do. They're awesome resources. So I encourage y'all when you are on campus to come talk to them. And then finally, we do have the Community Advising Network counselor, John DePaul. We call him the CAN counselor. So CAN it's a group of counselors that work specifically with underrepresented groups. So they're a little bit more like culturally competent when it comes to providing like personal counseling and things like that. So that's a lot of what they do, provide consultations and personal counseling. So if you're having a little bit more like trouble adjusting to campus, maybe you feel like you don't belong, things like that, he would be an awesome resource to talk to. They're not necessarily academic advisors, so they can't help you with if you're having you don't know what classes to take and stuff like that. They provide more personal counseling if you're having more like you want to talk a little bit more about like mental health. That's what they're for. And then finally, like that link down there, opportunity, UC Davis, that link will take you to the advising page on the EOP page. So I encourage you all to check that out as well if you want a little bit more information about the type of advising that we do in our office. Yeah, so is there any questions before we move on about the staff, about services, anything like that? If not, we'll have a Q&A at the end, so feel free to ask questions then. So we'll move on. Oh, well, there you go, Q&A. Are there any questions about anything that we talked about, or just EOP in general, or UC Davis in general?
We will give you all a moment to write anything in the chat if that is something that you're more comfortable with as well. So Tatiana asked if there are any cool EOP events. Do any of you two want to answer this question?
Yeah, so one really like huge event that we just started last year was our first generation college celebration. Normally happens on November 8th during fall quarter. So this is just an event to celebrate first generation students. What we have been doing is we go on the Memorial Union, which is a huge space on campus, and we try to get as many students as we can who are first generation, and we make a one. So I don't know if you can see it like on this thing, but kind of faded by the yellow. But this is the picture that we did this year. It's just an awesome event to celebrate being first generation and kind of bringing awareness on campus about like being first generation and what the experience is like. Another part of that event is the monologues hosted by Christina Jackson, one of the EOP retention specialists. So it provides a space for first gen students to kind of talk about their experience. Students usually do that through spoken words, but they can definitely use whatever medium they want to express that experience. It's very empowering, very super awesome.
And you're definitely welcome to check out our Instagram. It is at EOP_UC Davis. And you'll be able to look at some of the events we have done in the past. Another question that we have is the STEP program still taking place? If so, how do you apply for it?
As of right now, the STEP program is taking place. There might be some changes to the program, but the program is still taking place. And how do you apply? If you are an EOP student, you should have the application on your My Admissions page. Um, and that's how you complete the application. If you don't know if you're an EOP student or if you're not an EOP student, you can definitely reach out to us, and we'll direct you as to how you can either apply or appeal a decision that was made by the admissions office. You can email us at eop@ucdavis.edu and just ask your question on there. And I can type it in the chat as well, just so you have the information.
Yes, so as Juan was saying, if you have any questions, you can email us at EOP. Well, you can email us eop@ucdavis.edu, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. We regularly have our peer advising counselors checking the emails to make sure that you all are being attended and have your questions answered.
I have also added the Instagram account that Step has started. Also, a lot of things will be posted there. And if you have if you have I'm sorry, if your application appears that you're part of the Education Opportunity Program and STEP, you will be receiving emails soon about what webinars are coming up, such as this one, where we give you more information how to apply and give you more like step-by-step information about STEP. But feel welcome to email us at step.ucdavis.edu and also follow the Instagram account at step /UCDavis underscore UCDavis. I'm sorry.
Is there any other questions?
So some of you may be joining us through phone. Probably you may not see the text option, but there should be a tool around there. If you're not seeing our text, should be a place in there. We should click on text and you should be able to see everything that we're saying to as well.
A question?
Yes, that should be under chat. Oh, sorry, Juan.
No, you go.
Okay, so the question was, what has been an academic challenge you experienced in your first year?
I think for me, an academic challenge I experienced my first year was definitely my study skills. In high school, I felt like I didn't really need to study that much. And I thought coming into college, it would kind of be the same thing, but it definitely was not the same thing. I had to like amp up my study skills because the classes were very rigorous. So I did attend some of those success workshops, and just try to do the best I could with to improve my time management and study skills, because it definitely gets a little bit tough.
Definitely. Oh,
Go ahead.
I definitely agree. I think one of the most challenging things for me was coming out of high school, having taken AP English. I thought my writing was on point, but it didn't seem to be up to par. And that could be the experience of any person who's in the university. It doesn't necessarily mean UC Davis, but that's where you take control and you can take advantage of our writing and other tutoring services, as well as the other services that are provided by the university, as well as attend office hours, which are essentially where you can go to talk to your professor for help or any teaching assistance as well. So I think that's kind of where I struggled, was not knowing how much I should study or how much effort to put in, but also making sure that I understood what was required of me or expected of me.
For me personally, it was also English, because I was considered an English learner throughout my high school until my senior year. And then when I came to college, it's still the university had me under English learner. and then I had to go through all different courses and learn how to navigate the school. So it's kind of different an aspect of it, but which is okay. At the end, I learned a lot of it, and then it has grown. And something that I was scared at the beginning was getting adjusted to the classes, how other students were kind of like ahead of me in the sense of understanding the material that I didn't. Some were speaking differently than I was, but at the end, everyone is friendly and willing to help you out. So if you ask them, like, like, hey, would you mind like just like teaching me about this? It's just that I don't understand this part. So that was something that was kind of like hard to get adjusted to, but as time moved forward, like I got adjusted to it, and here I am still.
Yeah, that's definitely some of the great things of our campus is that the students are very friendly. So a lot of the times if we have any exams, students are more than happy to help one of another. Um, so definitely don't be shy. Try to make some friends on the first day of class and form some study groups. So the next question, what is one of the ways that you changed your study habits?
I guess I'll talk about it since I said. Um, Definitely taking notes during class was a little bit different that I had to adjust to just because the professors went so quickly. Um, I had to kind of figure out like what needed to be written down, what didn't need to be written down, um, and then also kind of building my self discipline and like kind of forcing myself to do the homeworks even though they weren't like required, they weren't mandatory. Like I didn't have to turn them in. I started noticing like when I wasn't doing those homeworks, like I was doing not so hot like on the tests. So I was like, all right, I need to start doing the homeworks just to get some practice in for the tests. Um, so yeah, that's some of the things that I changed. I don't know if y'all want to talk about.
um, the following question, I see one. Do you find yourself having a lot of free time, or is it mostly studying for classes? That's a good question. um, that's when time management comes into play. A lot of that has to do with you, what you want to do, where you want to spend your time at. If you really want to spend the time with your friends, for all means, you can spend it with your friends. But if you have priority, which is doing homework and studying for your exam, so probably gonna have to spend a little more time with your exam for certain times and certain days. So it's all prioritizing. And again, we mentioned one of the success coaching. So if you have any trouble, you can go back to the page, Juan, and show which one can be like useful, um, so they can have that.
Which one?
The success. Oh, I didn't put the link. Okay, we can put the link in there. Um, so we can put the link in there. So basically, you take a success workshop, and they can help you out, like how to do time management, how to prioritize things. Because time management becomes kind of crucial. But you have free time. You'll figure it out as time moves on. At the beginning, it might feel a little bit difficult. It feels like you only spend all your time studying, always studying, and that's how it feels at the beginning. That's how I felt like my first quarter here at Davis, where like I felt like I was studying 24/7. But at the end, it's everything about like how to uh, put a big task into subtask and how to move forward day by day, and also look at bigger picture and as we move forward. But yes, you do have time. It's just about time management.
Yeah, so there's definitely a balance, like Franklin said. I think that's one of the best ways that I changed my study habits was to try to stop procrastinating. And again, there is a workshop on that for the success workshops, and we will include that link in the comments. But that's definitely one of the best services that I recommend you check out right away. It's about splitting up your time. You can balance out your personal life, your social life, and academics and do well in all. It's just a lot about time management. One of the best ways that I recommend is the Google Calendar. It's a lot easier to pull it out on my phone than maybe having a physical calendar, but it is up to the individual, whatever you prefer. And I think that's one of the most helpful tools to do well is to always keep your deadlines on your calendar and to make sure you give yourself enough time to do those things. And also make sure to check out the Instagram IGTV video from our social and personal team. They're called SOPE. They go more in depth on getting involved in managing their time commitments. They did this past week. And then some of the other events that we have going on besides this one. So at 6 p.m. today, there is Join Academic Organizations Finding Your Place that will also take over Zoom. And on Monday throughout the day, there will be a video called Make It Make Sense, and it'll share how to make different recipes with different vegetables. If you're interested in registering, the link is tinyurl.com/20 EOP community. We will share that on the chat as well. And the link to sign up is also on our Instagram in our bio. So if you want to go ahead and register for any of those events, they'll be there as well. It's the same way that you registered for this event.
Welcome to for those who are still joining us.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Priyanka.
Yeah, so we're just currently taking questions. If you have any questions about EOP or like just the student experience here at UC Davis, we'll be happy to answer those questions for you.
I do have some question. I don't know, but I wanted to learn more about co-op housing in UC Davis because yesterday I got an email saying that UC Davis accepted me. So yeah.
You wanted to learn more about what housing?
Co-op.
Oh, co-op housing?
Yes.
I don't know if y'all know about co-op housing.
I haven't lived in co-op housing myself, but we do have the student housing and dining services, and they have a website and they go more in depth on that. I can include that in the chat. And if Christopher Pengelina is available and wants to talk a little bit more about that, he can.
Totally. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Angeles, for putting that in the website. So the difference between the co-op housing and the residence halls are that the co-op housing has it's a smaller community, and there are 3 houses that do live on campus. And there is a relationship with student housing, but they operate a little bit more autonomously within themselves. They sometimes often have like shared responsibilities around the house that they work together, which may be chores with cleaning, cooking. I know one of the houses has chickens over there that often lay eggs, and the students may go out and like take the eggs and bring them in. So it's I think they also have themes with each of the houses. So I would encourage you to check out the link that Angeles just sent. It goes into more details on how you can choose that option as your living option if that's something that you want to do versus staying in the residence halls.
Okay. Thank you. It's housing.ucdavis.edu. Is that the link?
It's the sllc.ucdavis.edu. Try cooperatives.
Okay, thank you. And I also had another question. Is anyone talking right now or no?
Yeah. Yes.
What was your question?
Like, I wanted to ask about programs that you guys offer.
Juan, would you mind going up in that one on the the slides?
About like the resources?
Yes, that's what EOP has.
Yeah, so in terms of like academic resources, this is what we offer. So like a lot of advising. We do some tutoring. We provide free testing materials, lending libraries. There's really awesome resources where students can borrow books from us, textbooks, and it's completely free. We have pre and co classes, which are co-classes go concurrently with the regular class that you're taking. So you might be taking like calculus or physics. So these classes go concurrently, just to provide you a little bit more like time to kind of get to understand the material, and then the pre-classes prepare you for the regular classes like calculus and chemistry and physics. And then we do offer study space, and then we offer success workshops, and those kind of revolve around like time management, and kind of beefing up your study skills. So like how to take notes, how to do like efficient reading, things like that. And then we
Yeah,
also
in
do like,
addition,
I'm sorry?
I was just going to say, in addition to what we offer academically, we also offer a lot of social and personal events to build community within UC Davis, especially with other EOP students, to make sure that you feel welcome on campus. And we know that you're also not just a student, so we offer a lot of other holistic support as well.
For the next event, do you send out the link, Angeles, about the event that is coming up today after at 6?
Yes, I can put that in the chat as well.
Okay, so what Angeles is going to put is a link where they're going to cover a little bit more of what the resources, and also they're going to be talking about the living learning community, and more in depth. So for Tatiana, if you want to talk a little bit more about the living learning community, they'll be answering all these questions at 6 p.m. But just to give you a little insight, there's spots for students. We have a living learning space, but if you end up not getting it for whatever reason happens, you still will guarantee a place in UC Davis at least, because you have first year incoming freshmen.
To add on to that, Tatiana, the living learning community is one floor in a residence hall, and that could range between 50 to maybe 65 students. When you're filling out your housing application, there will be a section for living learning community. Some of those are themed based around interests or personal and social identities. And so that's one of the ones that you would want to like select and rank for yourself as a community that you'd want to be a part of. So space is definitely, it is limited, but if you would want to like say maybe live in the residence hall where the living learning community is housed, you can definitely indicate that on your application so you're at least close and in proximity to that floor. Just because you're living on a different floor doesn't necessarily mean you can't get involved with that particular community. You just may be a floor above or below it as well.
And if for some reason you are not able to come onto the We Are First Living Learning community, we are also a community. We are very welcoming and supportive of all of our students, so you stop by the college anytime.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any last minute questions that we can take in? It can be regards to anything we have covered or anything regards to EOP, if we can answer. You're welcome, Tatiana. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. That's our last slide. We have Facebook and Instagram. So feel welcome. And someone asked about events that happens at UC Davis. Those are the events when we post our events. There happens various events throughout the quarter that are put by our peer advisor counselors throughout the quarter. They range from socially to academics. And congratulations on making it to UC Davis.
Yes, thank you.
Great, and that concludes our presentation. If anyone has any more questions, feel free to email us eop.ucdavis.edu.